Virgo. Welcome to Pisces season. All information to work with me one-on-one is below, as well as to get the more extended version of this reading. So with the sun in Pisces, we have a lot opposing you this month. This month is will be working with you as long as you see it that way. You know how people say, and how it's said to be like, how you think or how you feel is going to affect like your whole, like your day. So if you just can shift, you'll be fine. So this month, that's kind of what it will be like. There will be moments where you want to revert back or revert into a way that's more comfortable. And I don't think you're like choosing that necessarily. I don't see like that you're wanting to do that. It's just kind of what comes up. But I think the awareness, and when I see the awareness that's kicking in now is like you have a different view of your life. Something has shifted where you don't feel as inclined to do that. You realize that you don't also have to do the opposite of that, but there is another direction. And you have more of the internal fortitude that will help that compass. So this month is like a kind of, it's purposeful in how you decide to view not only comfort, but how you are in relationship to your attachments or to your idea of your life, or what you view as a risk. You know, doing something like this is risky because it's a change. So regardless if it's positive or negative, it's still risky, as you know. Even though you don't feel like you know what will happen next, even though you don't know what will happen or what will be the outcome of it, if you trust that this is some knowledge and good information about yourself, then you probably won't find it to be as difficult. If you resist, if you try to reason, because there will always be a reason, and then eventually, which is also said, it could feel like you get tired of your own bullshit. So when you have the opportunity to face it in a way that's not so humiliating or detrimental to who you are in your identity, who you are in your day-to-day, then you realize that this comes with that kind of comfort. Even though it's a challenge or it's something that's can feel restricting or challenging, it's something that is ultimately more in alignment with what you are going for. And the way that sometimes you can understand this and notice this is if you begin to have more energy or you have a reaction to that change. So sometimes even when you change or you respond differently in a way that's it's not like you're changing your food, it's changing your way of even seeing or thinking. It can affect you in sometimes a physical way, and especially because you're so connected to your body in that way, because most people wouldn't think Virgo and think, oh, they're connected to their bodies, but you are in a way where it's very reactive depending on how you are moving in the world or whatever you're dealing with, like whatever situations are coming up, stresses, any of that. So this can also cause you to rethink some things that you thought you had answers to, because even if it's a similar problem or something that's a pattern that is coming up, it doesn't necessarily mean that the answer you had before will work for you now. So that's another thing that can be and help influence this. I would say the positive thing in this is that, also very like kind of cliche is when you take a risk or you do something that has a little fear, like you want to do it, or it's an idea that you want to put out there, or there's something you need to express to someone, something that's a little uncomfortable, has a little fear, but could ultimately do better for you. Sometimes that actually helps. Sorry, baby. That can actually help whatever is going on with you, especially if it keeps coming to your head, because that's something that you can get a buildup. Like some people get a buildup of plaque, but you can get buildup into your brain if you're not, getting it out of you somehow, whether it's acting on it, talking about it, writing on it. But acting upon something, whether it's internally or externally, can become and manifest into something in your life, where then it becomes something bigger that has to be dialed back. So that's basically, this reading is telling you that these things that are coming up in your life, like my cat keeps coming up here on the counter. He really likes you. You can also sense that you probably can and are very sensitive to even coming into the season, or kind of felt it or will feel it like in a very short time. So it's different for everybody, I think. So what can also be happening is that you make this decision, you feel really confident about it, you feel a healthy detachment from it, but then all of a sudden your mind goes elsewhere and you could like lose confidence or have some kind of self-doubt, and you notice that becomes the dominant thing in your mind or narrative. So what I would say is that this is something, although seems like it's happening a little faster, it's not. It's taking its course. If you take an external view and you give yourself this time in Pisces season, say, okay, the sun's out across me, I feel maybe blinded, or I feel very exposed. If you do it in a way where you are safely doing it with yourself, then it doesn't have to come out subconsciously in another area. So if you actually really take the time to address these things that are revealing themselves to you, you have more power in the response. And there's not only more power in that, but that also can reveal to you that, yes, although you are very confident in what you're doing, you feel strong, there's so much goodness. It's still reminding yourself in these moments of goodness. Now, this isn't for everybody, this is very unique. More uncommon, I should say, is that you can then worry, even in like the good moments. And that's, even though can sound like crazy, like why wouldn't someone just like bask in what's happening? It's, well, your experience. And if this is something that you relate to, then take it slow. You don't have to be like a fire sign and jump all the way in, but Aries season will have you probably feel it more. So maybe just like slowly allow yourself to open up, just my advice, but like do what you want. But this Knight of Pentacles and the Judgment in reverse is, don't go against your better judgment, basically. So that's what I would say, Virgo. And we will see you in the next part. The link is below, and it's going to start off this new this newer adventure. Yes, you've done this before, but this time it's different because what you've been accomplishing with yourself is this self-compassion that then can help shift that narrative, even when they are quicker or faster, so that you don't have to go through that, because it can be detrimental to your health too, you know. And we'll see you next month.